Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper dated 2nd December 2025. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see the important topics of the day first. First important topic of our analysis is smartphone makers told to pre-install Sanchar Sati. So here this article is talking about one important app called as Sanchar Sati. Whenever government is coming up with any app, government has tendency, UPSC has tendency to ask that in your UPSC prelims. If you see your PYQs, in 2019 there was a question regarding Beam app. In that year, government came up with this Beam app, so that the question came. And this year, government says that we have to pre-install for sure in every mobile with this Sanchar Sati. So you may get a question regarding this app case, and you have to know about that. And this topic is important from your governance point of view. And next topic is Supreme Court tasks CBI to tackle digital arrest. And UPSC have a tendency to ask questions regarding certain keywords which will appear in newspaper. So here you can expect a question like recently digital arrest is seen in news. Which of the following option clearly explains that? So here you have to know about this, what is this digital arrest, and you have to know about some facts regarding the CBI. CBI is there in your syllabus from polity point of view. So you have to know certain basic facts regarding the CBI. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity. And next topic is ED issues notice to Kerala CM in Masala bond probe. So here the keyword of this article is Masala bonds. In your economy, you will be coming across this bonds, markets, capital market, money market, everything, right? So from that topic point of view, you have to know about what is this Masala bond. And you may get directly a prelims based question regarding this Masala bond, and this topic is important from GS paper 3 under economy point of view, guys. And next topic is center moves bills to raise pan masala cess, increase excise duties on tobacco products. As you all know that GST 2.0 reforms came recently. In that reforms, government said that we are going to add one more slab, that is 40% slab for this kind of products. So now to take a step, government is introducing two important bills in Lok Sabha, guys, and you have to see what are those two bills and how they are going to impose cess on this tobacco products and how those bills are going to improve health of our public. And this topic is important from GS paper to governance, and even in GS paper to polity also you'll be studying this, and even from this GS paper to economy also this article is very important. And next topic is bioterrorism is serious threat, world not ready, says Jai Shankar. And this topic is at most important from your UPSC point of view. And actually this statement made by our External Affairs Minister in one conference, that is Biological Weapon Convention Conference. And we are celebrating 50th anniversary of that Biological Weapon Convention. So if you are getting any organizations or any conventions of 25 years, 50 years, 75 years, 100 years, you can expect for sure question regarding that in your prelims. And this is one area there where you are going to expect question in your prelims 2026 case. And next topic is Army conducts combat launch of BrahMos cruise missile. So here you have to know certain facts regarding this BrahMos cruise missile, and you may get directly question from this area, guys. And from science and technology, every year you can expect 12 to 15 questions directly from current affairs, where you will be expecting questions from defense technology, from biotechnology, nanotechnology, space technology. And here this topic it is from your defense technology, guys. And these are the important topics. Apart from this, there are other three articles which are there in an editorial page. In yesterday's class, we discussed about our economy, right? We discussed about our second quarter GDP projections. It is around 8.2%. So from based on that, there is one article. And second article, it is about there is increasing of cardiovascular cases in our urban areas. How we have to tackle that cardiovascular case, that is heart diseases in our urban areas. That is the second article. And third article in your editorial page is AMR, that is antimicrobial resistance. As you all know that if you're getting any disease, we will use antibiotics. But are we using that continuously? Are we using that till completion of course? No. Because of that, most of the microorganisms which are causing diseases, they develop this antimicrobial resistance. And how we have to tackle that antimicrobial resistance. That is the third other topic which came in your editorial, guys. And now let us see these articles in detail. Okay, look at the first article title, guys. Smartphone makers told to pre-install Sanchar Sati. Why we have to install this Sanchar Sati as pre-install? So if you see apps, from where you can download the apps, guys, we have Play Store in Android phones. In your iOS, in your Apple, we have App Store. So from that, we can directly install whatever the apps that we want. But this article is saying that we have to pre-install apps. What is meaning of pre-install, guys? Whenever you are purchasing any mobile, there will be certain apps which are present in your mobile itself, right? There is no need of downloading of that kind of apps. For example, phone, for example, messages related app, everything will be like they are already pre-installed. Now here, our Department of Telecommunication is saying that any smartphone manufacturers, for example, we have different companies. Can you tell me some examples of smartphones that you are using? We have Apple, we have Samsung, we have Redmi Chinese thing. Next, Oppo, Samsung I told. Okay, like that we have different companies, right? Different companies producing this smartphones. So here now this Department of Telecommunications is saying that we have to pre-install the Sanchar Sati app, especially from March 2026 onwards. Whatever the mobiles that are going to come into the market, for that phones they have to pre-install this Sanchar Sati. So what is Sanchar Sati? Why we have to go for pre-installing? As you all know that there is increasing of cyber security, and even you will be getting certain notifications, certain messages or mails. If you're clicking that, what happens easily? Your phone is getting hacked. And even there is issue of Pegasus. Pegasus is one software of Israel which is alleged that yes, government used that to track or to hack this mobiles of opposition party leaders, journalists, and important people in our country, right? That means here there is a very high chance of getting your phones hacked. And even there is increased cyber security issues also. To control that, our government is saying that we have to install this Sanchar Sati app. And even as you all know that if you're traveling in bus or if you're traveling in trains also, many a times many of you might lost your mobile phones. After once you lost your mobile phones, what will you do? You have to go to nearby police station and you have to give complaint, and even you have to give certain ID of your mobile number so that they can track your mobile phone, right? So what is happening here? Even if you go to certain markets, we can easily get second handed goods, like which are stolen by someone, which will be available for the very less price in second hand markets. Even in Hyderabad also we have many markets where uh, even in Hyderabad also we are having many markets where we can get second hand goods at a very cheaper cost. Then what happens here? This Sanchar Sati app, which will be provides you one ID. To that ID, you can identify whether your mobile is genuine or like whether it is a fake mobile. That is also one problem that we are getting in this era. And even if you lost your mobile, what happened? You can easily track your mobile by using that Sati app. And one more thing which mainly said by this Department of Telecommunication is whenever you are pre-installing this app in the mobile, it should not be deleted. There should not be any option of deleting by the user. Okay, so these are the things which are mainly said here. And now in this article, especially you have to focus on this Sanchar Sati, how it is going to improve services to the people, and even you have to understand like how it is going to be advantageous for the users. And next you have to see what are the advantages or impacts of pre-installing the Sanchar Sati app. And for sure, for this 2026 prelims, for 100% you are going to get question regarding this Sanchar Sati, guys. Okay, now let us see this article clearly. India's Department of Telecom issued an order, and this order which mandates pre-installation of Sanchar Sati apps on all mobiles. So they said that from March 2026 onwards, whichever the mobiles which are going to be released into the market, they have to get this. But what about already the mobiles that you are using? For that, here government gave one idea for this mobile manufacturers. For example, if you're using Samsung or if you're using Oppo or Apple, so they have to push notifications to every mobile and they have to go for software upgradation. You'll be getting software upgradation, right? For every 3 months or 6 months, like that. So here they are saying that we have to go for upgrade the software of different company mobiles and they have to install this Sanchar Sathi app in already using mobile phones. Okay. So this manufacturers like Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo must comply within 90 days. And this app cannot be deleted or disabled by users. There should be no option of uninstalling of that app for sure. And for existing devices, they have to push via software updates. And this is the aim of the Sanchar Sathi app. It is to boost telecom cyber security nationwide. And see this facts, guys. It is initiative of Department of Telecom, very important. And this has been launched in year 2023 itself. But now we are making it mandate. From 2023 till 2025, we were running pilot project. And in this pilot project, we got that this app is very much success. So because of this now, our telecom department saying that mandatorily every company has to install this app. And next one here is why we have to use this app, how this app is advantageous. It will check if phone's international mobile equipment identity number is genuine or blacklisted. For example, many a times we will also purchase mobiles from other countries because the cost will be less, and even some of our relatives or friends who are there in abroad, they may gift this kind of things to you, right? So here it will check that international mobile equipment identity number, it is genuine or whether it is a fake. And next one is it can also report or whatever the phones which are stolen, and it can block them and it can trace if needed with that number. And next one is it can also report suspected fraudulent calls. Normally you will be getting lots of spam calls, right? If you're giving your number normally whenever you're going for any surveys or whenever if you go to any supermarket, there will be also, if they are asking your number, wherever you go, you will give your number. So what happens every day, at least minimum 10 to 15 calls of spam will be getting to your number, and even you will be getting spam messages and you'll be getting certain links, click here. If you click here, you got like 100 crores rupees in so and so prize money in lottery. So click here, give your account details, like that you will be getting lots of spam messages also, right? So because of this app will going to protect from fraudulent calls, messages, and even it will check mobile connections registered in one's name. And it will be very much helpful in fraud prevention and device protection as well. Okay, now this is available even in app stores as well. This app is now available in app stores, guys. And what are the advantages? First one is it will be empowering users against theft and fraud. And this one is nationwide, it blocks the stolen phones reuse and quick fraud reporting so that we can reduce a scam. And this one is we can verify genuine handsets so that we can curb this counterfeit, that is nothing but illegal products. And it also helps police in tracing and recovery of mobiles. Obviously, it will raise awareness on telecom security, and even it can coordinate it with banks for trusted contacts. So in this way, we have multiple advantages if you are having this app. Okay, clear? And now let us see the next article. See the title, guys. Supreme Court tasks CBI to tackle digital arrest. What is the keyword? Keyword is digital arrest. What is the meaning of digital arrest? Come on, tell me. What do you think? Online students, tell me in the comment box. What is the meaning of digital arrest? Are they arresting digitally? Then what is meaning of digital arrest? And why CBI has to tackle these cases? Come on. Cyber security is done, right, for you in internal security classes. I think Sandeep sir gave lots of information, and even Sandeep sir account had been hacked. Did he said this in Instagram ID? Yesterday only I got this message that Sandeep sir's Instagram got hacked. Please don't send any money to my account. Please don't believe that. So actually what is happening here, because of increasing of science and technology, there is increasing of what? Cyber security issues, right? And not only that, recently one case study I studied, that case study says that directly officers in the name of GST came into office and they started showcasing that you didn't file GST right. And that company CEO lost 60 crore rupees. But finally, they thought that nothing was related to GST. And finally, he lost the money. Even as a company CEO who lost the 60 crores, what about this normal public? What about this elderly people? What about this vulnerable people? There is one movie of Surya and Vijay Shanti. What is that movie? She says that I am Jansi Lakshmi Bai from CID or CBI. Ramakrishna and gang movie. So if you see that movie, what is the highlights of that movie? What is the story of that movie is about? They will act like CBI, and what they'll do? They will loot the money from the people. In the same way, nowadays, because of this increasing of advanced technology, increasing of usage of internet, increasing of usage of this smartphones, there is increased cyber threat. Because of this, all these issues comes under this digital arrest. That means cyber scams, losing of money in your accounts, all this happens digitally, right? That kind of things are called as digital arrest. Now recently what happened, there is one case which had been filed by an old couple, elderly couple, that they lost around 1.5 crore rupees in this digital arrest. And because of this, now Supreme Court took a strong stand that it said that now CBI has to handle that kind of cases of digital arrest. So in your UPSC, you can get a question. Recently, digital arrest is seen in news. Which of the following options correctly explain that term? And they'll give you just ABCD options and you have to choose one. And now let us see the context here. Supreme Court of India issued an order which led by the bench of CJI and one more justice. They directed CBI for pan-India probe into digital arrest scams. Now Supreme Court took this suo motu case. This case filed by elderly couple, complaint from Haryana. They lost around 1.5 crore to scammers posing as officers. They came to them and they said that you are officers, you didn't file this so and so, you have to file. Or else what happened? If you are not paying that amount immediately, we will arrest you. So they will go for threatening them. Because of that, they will do some payment. So because of this, what happens? They will lose their money. So this kind of scams are called as digital arrest. And now court emphasized that we have to act immediately against this fraud. So because of this, Supreme Court gave an order for CBI to handle this kind of digital arrest cases. What is this digital arrest? This is one of emerging cyber crime tactic in India. Fraud people or fraudsters, they say that they are police or CBI officers or court officials, and they will contact victims via mobiles, that is phone or video calls or fake apps, and they accuse them of crimes like money laundering, and now they will threaten them, we will arrest if you're not going to do payment immediately. And what happened? Because of that fear, we'll do payments, and this kind of all cases comes under this digital arrest. In that kind of contacting with these victims, they will be using forged documents, fake Supreme Court orders, etc. Okay, and these people, they mainly target vulnerable people. Who are that vulnerable? Elderly people, and as well as women and children. And not only that, elderly people are very much vulnerable because they don't know the technology that much because of digital illiteracy. So this kind of crimes or scams comes under this digital arrest. Why Supreme Court took this intervention? Because there is increasing of this number of scams across the world. Across the world, and even in our India also, especially state polices are dealing with this. If the state police are dealing with this, they are not getting proper conclusion and they are not properly dealing with this kind of cases. So because of this inefficiency from the state police, now Supreme Court is ordering CBI to do this. And next one is pan-India operations from foreign scam hubs like Myanmar. We know that recently we brought around 210 Indians who had been stuck in Myanmar and Thailand. Yes or no? As you all know that in Myanmar, there are certain cyber security hubs, they are created and they started doing cyber crimes in different countries where they are recruiting Indians illegally. And we came to know that, and India did one operation and we brought around 210 Indians from this Myanmar and as well as Thailand recently, right? Can you recall that thing? We discussed that in our current affairs. So here what is happening here, foreign scam hubs are increasing day by day, and even the people, the scammers are present in other countries, but they are trying to hack websites, but they are trying to do certain scams in India. So because of this, now we need to have power which is given to central police, not for the state police to deal with this kind of issues. And this one is states fragmented probes lack coordination. For example, if this kind of case are filed in the state of Haryana or state of Punjab, then what happens? The local police can deal within their state only. They cannot go to other states. But this kind of cyber issues, do we have borders? For sure, no. So we need to have higher authorities to deal with this kind of cases. Okay. And what are the advantages here? Whenever we are giving this kind of directives for the CBI, we can go for unified national probe and we can target enablers like bankers and mule accounts. In our earlier classes, we discussed about this mule accounts. What is this mule accounts? Fake accounts, shell accounts. So here through this shell accounts also this kind of issues can happen. So we are going to trace this mule accounts as well, and it will be helpful for boosting of recovery of funds via AI tools. And recently we discussed that in judiciary also we are going to use AI, and even in banks also we have to going to use this AI, right? So if you are using this AI, we can identify which is mule account and which is not mule account, and we can track them clearly. And next one is it can enhance its international cooperation via Interpol, and even it will push us certain reforms in our banking sector as well. Okay, what are the short-term impacts and what are the long-term impacts of this directive? If you see the short-term impacts, we can fasten our FIR resolutions and arrest, and we can recover the portions of at least loss had been done by this, done to these victims, and we can increase public awareness, and we can also tighten KYC norms. What is this KYC? Know your customer norms for the banks. And in the long term, what can we do? We can go for entire dealing of this kind of cases with the CBI itself, and we can strengthen our India cyber security ecosystem coordination, and even overall this cyber frauds can decrease if you are giving this responsibility to the CBI. Okay. And say this article, guys. ED issues notice to Kerala CM in Masala bond probe. So here you have to know about what is this Masala bond. So why this Kerala CM involved here, and you have to see why they raised this Masala bonds. First of all, what is this Masala bonds? Have you heard about this Masala bonds, guys? What are those Masala bonds? They are denominated in, okay, rupee denominated. Who will issue this Masala bonds? Who will invest in this Masala bonds? Who will be getting profit with this Masala bonds, and who will be getting adversities because of this Masala bonds? Who will be getting losses? All these things that you have to know, and they can form a prelims based question. Okay. Yeah, if you say this context, it says that Kerala Infrastructure Funding Arm, it issued 2,150 crore worth Masala bonds in 2019 in April. And here they listed on London Stock Exchange market. And the important aim why they issued here is to raise around 50,000 crore rupees, and they want to use that money for infrastructure projects in this Kerala, like development of roads, development of IT parks in Kerala. And they issued interest rate of 9.1 percentage. Actually, this 9.1 percentage of interest on this bonds is low compared to that of other domestic bonds. Other domestic bonds will be having more than 10.15 percentage of interest rate. but they were issued at 9.1% only. And ED probe started in 2021, and they registered FEMA case. What is FEMA? Foreign Exchange Management Act. That means here foreigners invested money in this. So because of this, FEMA case had been registered in 2022. Why this case had been registered? There is a probe that whatever the money they raised by this masala bonds, they went for misusing of that fund. They didn't develop this area. They didn't use that money for development of IT parks or road, but they focused on land acquisition, and even they violated RBI end use rules. Because of this, they filed the case. And even CAG report said that RBI approval is questionable. It is not according to the constitution. So because of all these issues, now the charges were there on this Kerala CM regarding this raising of masala bonds. So what are these masala bonds? They are the bonds which are issued outside India by an Indian entity. For example, here, who issued this bond? Kerala Infrastructure. What is that name? Kerala's Infrastructure Funding Arm. That is Indian entity which issued bond in outside of our country. That means in foreign countries, they issued these bonds. Where they placed these bonds? In London Stock Exchange. Now, who will buy that bonds? Other country people, that is foreign country people, they will buy that bonds. And these bonds are denominated in Indian rupee. They have to buy these bonds in Indian rupee only. Okay. And whatever the money which got by this Indian firm, they will use that money for different purposes. And after maturity, they have to pay back their money with so and so interest rate. Here the interest rate is 9.1% annually. Okay, these are this masala bonds. And how does this masala bonds helps the issuer? So masala bonds are issued directly in Indian rupee. That means whoever wants to buy that bond, they have to pay to the firm in Indian rupees only. But what happens? They are present in other countries. For example, US, for example, Europe, or for example, France, whatever it may be. So in different countries, they are living, they are staying. So they have to convert their money of their country into rupees, and they have to buy this masala bonds in rupees. That means if exchange rate is increasing or decreasing, means obviously what happens? That will be impacting the person who buys that bond. But the firm who is issuing that bond will be not getting any impact, because he will be getting Indian rupees and he is staying in India. Okay, are you understanding about this masala bonds? So this is about this masala bonds, guys. And who are eligible to invest in masala bonds? Investors from outside of India who wants to invest in Indian assets, they can invest in this masala bonds. And earlier also many Indian entities like NTPC, like India Bulls Housings, they raised lots of funds by using this masala bonds. It is not for the first time. Okay, clear? On this also you may get question regarding masala bonds. Keep star mark for this topic. And see this article, guys, center moves bills to raise pan masala cess, increase excise duties on tobacco products. So what are the keywords here? First one is cess. What is the meaning of cess? C-E-S-S. Have you heard this word cess? What is cess? Okay. So here we have two words. What are those two words? One is cess. Second one is surcharge. So these two are nothing but tax on tax. Whatever the tax you pay, on that again there will be 2% or 1.5% or 4% on the tax that you have to pay something extra. That is called as cess or surcharge. But there is a small difference between this cess surcharge. Cess is nothing but whatever the tax on tax which is collected by government, that will be used for specified purpose. If they are using for specified purpose, then that is called as cess. For example, we have Krishi Kalyan cess for farmers. We have Swachh Bharat cess, education cess. Cess is for only for that purpose only they will use that money. But what about surcharge? They will collect this tax on tax, but they will not say for which purpose they use that amount. That is called as surcharge. This is a basic difference. And now if you see here, they are going to raise pan masala cess. That means tax on tax they are going to collect under this cess. They will use for what? The people who had been affected by consuming this pan masala. Okay. And next one here is they are going to increase excise duties on tobacco products. What is the meaning of excise duty? Excise duty means excise duty. If there is any company which is manufacturing this tobacco products, they have to pay taxes to the government, right? That duty is called as excise duty. Now onwards, the tobacco products manufacturing units, they have to pay more taxes to the government. That is called as excise duty. Now you guys tell me, whenever we are collecting cess, whenever we are increasing excise duties, on this products like pan masala and as well as tobacco products, then what happens? What governments wants to do here? Government wants to decrease the use of pan masala and as well as tobacco products. Why government wants to decrease this use? Because many people in our country are getting affected by using of this sin goods. Why government came up with this kind of bills now? Already government said that we are going to add one more slab 40% in GST in this GST 2.0 reforms, right? So whatever the slabs we have 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, we are clubbing that into two only, right? We have now 5% and 18%. And along with that, we are going to add 40% slab. And this GST is added based on our Constitution Amendment, right? So which Constitution Amendment Act added GST? 101 Constitutional Amendment Act. Now it is a part of Constitution. If we want to bring any change, obviously we have to pass the bills. So for that, now we are going to pass these two bills, guys. Let us see what are those two bills and how they are going to bring the change. Now, our Union Finance Minister introduced two bills in Lok Sabha. First one is Central Excise Amendment Bill. Excise is nothing but they want to increase the excise duty on these tobacco products. And next one here is Health Safe National Security Cess Bill. And under this National Security Cess Bill, they want to levy new cess on pan masala production and consumption. Okay, next, if you see the details of this bill, first one is Central Excise Bill. It amends whatever the bill that is present earlier regarding the production of cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, zarda. Have you heard this zarda? Normal in villages, we'll see this zarda packets. Next one is hookah and scented tobacco. And under this bill, now we are going to propose 5,000 to 11,000 rupees excise per 1,000 sticks of cigars or cherroots or cigarettes. If any company is producing 1,000 sticks of cigarettes, they have to pay how much excise duty? 5,000 to 11,000 duty. How many cigarettes that a company or a unit will produce per a day? Any idea? Check that and see how much loss they are going to get. Okay. And second one is 60 to 70% of levy on manufactured tobacco. So if they are producing tobacco like chewing tobacco, zarda packets, hookah packets, for that they have to pay 60 to 70% of duty. And this one is 100% duty they have to pay on nicotine or inhalation products. Regarding inhalation also we have certain products, right? So for that they have to pay 100% duty. This is about the changes with this new bill. And this one is Health Security Cess Bill. Now we are going to add new cess on machines or processes of pan masala manufacture, and they are going to focus on capacity based levy to curb evasion, and they are going to ensure that total tax incidence unchanged post cess discontinuation, and they want to impose 40% GST on this tobacco and pan masala on this. So even on the machines or the processes which are used for this production of pan masala, they are going to add cess. Okay. For example, if a company is going to buy, for example, I want to produce this pan masala. I am buying one machine. On this machine, I have to pay certain tax to the government, right? On this tax, they will be imposing additional tax. That is the cess. Okay, for this pan masala. Clear? Have you understood? So like that, they want to control this production of this tobacco products, use of this tobacco products and consumption of pan masala in our country, guys. What are advantages here? First one is, yes, we are showing zero tolerance towards the sin goods. Sin goods are nothing but the goods which are going to have impact on the health of the people and discourages the consumption of the sin goods. And next one is, we are going to maintain revenue neutrality also. So what happens here, if you are increasing the excise duty, what happens? There will be decreasing of production. But even though they increased this amount now here, right, compared to earlier, that means there is no revenue shortage for the government. That's the thing you have to see. And next one is, what are the cess they are collecting under this pan masala cess? Now they are going to use it for cancer control and as well as public awareness. And next one here is anti-evasion. So they are improving the capacity so that they are targeting this pan masala under reporting as well. And next one here is permanent tax replace temporary cess now. And it aligns with WHO tobacco control. If we are reducing the affordability, obviously we can control this usage of this tobaccos. Okay, that's the thing. And what is the impact? The first one is increasing of pan masala and cigarette cost in the market. Obviously, it will be discouraging to some extent, not completely, to some extent we can discourage the use of this if there is no proper affordability. For example, what is the cost of one cigarette? A brand, which is a good brand of cigarette. Very good. Next. Started using money. Then how will you know? Friends circle. Okay. What is the cost, Akash? Don't you know, Akash? Tell me truth. Okay, so the price of this pan masalas and cigarette will be increased. And this one is industry pushback, but there is also a possible job losses. And you know that especially women, they involved in this beedi making, especially Warangal is famous for that beedi making by women. What happens temporarily or in the permanent also, there may be a job loss for women. And this one is lower consumption happens in the long term. Obviously, it will improve the health of the people. And it will boost exchequer by so and so crore yearly because of increasing of this duty. And next one is, it will reduce oral cancer. And even government can focus on quit programs, rehabilitation, awareness. Okay, so that is the thing, guys. Nothing more than that. And see this article. Bioterrorism is serious threat. World not ready, says Jaishankar. What is the meaning of bioterrorism? Have you seen this movie Seven Sins? What is the Seven Sins movie is about? China people will come, Dongli. He will inject virus in dog, and that virus will affect that dog slowly within 3 to 4 days, and will start spreading that to the dogs, and from dogs to humans, and everyone will fall sick, and slowly there is increased mortality in our country. That is the idea of that movie, right? That concept is called as bioterrorism. Whenever we are using biological organisms, that is nothing but life organism, the organisms which are having life, to spread diseases in other countries, to kill people through this media of disease, then that kind of terrorism is called as bioterrorism. Normal and traditional terrorism, what they'll do, they'll go for hijacking of aeroplanes, they'll go for hijacking of malls, and they will throw bombs, suicide bomb attacks, and they may attack this convoys of army people, whatever it may be. But this is the new form of terrorism, that is bioterrorism. And recently we had cases of bioterrorism in India. What are they? Can anyone tell me? Recently bomb blast happened near Red Fort, and on other side in Gujarat, some doctors, they are alleged in production of ricin. Ricin is a small chemical that is going to kill people within 3 days. There is no taste for that, and even we cannot identify or we cannot check whether that is present or not. If they mix this ricin in the water, which is supplied to the people, or if it is mixed in this prasadam like Tirupati prasadam or Yadagiri Gutta prasadam, everyone will go and for sure we will consume that prasadam, right? So because of this, what happens? There will be huge mass killings, right? So here this article is telling about that bioterrorism, it is a serious threat now, and not any country in the world today is not ready for that bioterrorism. And you know what happened in this COVID-19 pandemic, right? COVID-19 pandemic started in which country? China, and slowly it spread to almost every country in the world. That led to the reported deaths and reported economic loss. Everything got been stalled because of this COVID-19. For that entire around 2 years, impact was there. And even today, also many countries they had not yet been recovered from this COVID-19, right? So this is the idea why our Jaishankar said this statement. And now here we have to see what is bioterrorism and what are the evidences that Jaishankar has so that he said that statement. And you have to see about this biological weapon convention also. This year you may get for sure question regarding biological weapon convention because we are celebrating 50 years. Clear? Okay, now let us see the context. Our Finance Minister addressed one conference in this event which marked 50 years of biological weapons convention. And the theme of this year is strengthening biosecurity for global south. And he warned that bioterrorism, it is a serious threat, world not adequately prepared for that. And he called for urgent international reforms and cooperation. So this is the context why it is in news. And if you see bioterrorism, it is nothing but deliberate, that is willful, voluntary use of biological agents as weapons by non-state actors, that is nothing but by terrorists. They may use pathogens, they may use toxins like ricins or bioengineered agents causing diseases among the people. COVID-19 is bioengineered agents that is created by human in China. Okay, this is called as bioterrorism. And why did our ex-Finance Minister raise this issue? Because this biological weapon convention turns 50. But even though we have lots of disadvantages or lots of loopholes in this convention, because of that we are not adequately controlling this kind of bioterrorism related issues in our country. That is the first point why he raised this issue. And second one is there is no complaint system, there is no permanent technical body, and there is no tracking of science advances. So these are the loopholes in that convention. And next one is nowadays there is rapid technology of synthetic biology and even gene editing, it is at a very faster pace. And even we are using AI, we are going for genome editing. Because of that, we are having increased risk of bioterrorism. And next one is non-state actors, that is nothing but terrorists. They are exploited in this technology and they are also posing increased threats across the borders. And even, you know, global south, what is this global south concept? It is a grouping of developing and as well as least developed countries. Do they have advanced technology? And India is leader of that global south. So because of this, now it is our responsibility to improve security of health even in this grouping case. So because of this kind of statements came up by our government. Okay, and if you see what are the recommendations given by this Jaishankar is, what are the problems which are there in this biological weapon convention, we have to overcome that. First one, he said that we need to have a proper compliance. Whatever the provisions under this BWC is there, every country which is part of that, it has to be compliant. That means compulsory we have to follow that rules and regulations. And next one is we need to have proper verification methods. And we have to create a permanent technical body for tracking of science advancements across the world. And this one is we need to have a systematic review of technological developments, governance, innovation, etc. And even we need to have proper funding or aid. And this one is we have to improve capacity like improving your training, incident management and domestic reporting. And as a global south, no single nation can handle alone. So because of this, yes, we need to have proper recommendations, proper advancements in this convention. And what is convention? It is the first multilateral treaty which is banning a class of weapons of mass destruction. And this convention prohibits the production, development, acquisition and transfer and stockpiling of use of biological and toxic weapons. And we signed in year 1972, but it came into force in 1975. So now we are in 2025. Exactly, it came up 50 years ago, guys. Okay. Yeah, there are 188 members which are part of this convention. And out of this, India is a member, and 5 countries have neither signed this treaty. They are Djibouti, Chad, Eritrea, Israel, Kiribati. So these are the countries which had not signed this convention, guys. Okay, see this article. Army conducts combat launch of BrahMos cruise missile. So this topic is very important from your defense technology, guys. And you may get directly the statements regarding this BrahMos. Already UPSC asked this question regarding BrahMos in 2018 prelims. Okay. And there is a very high chance of getting once again, because we are going for export of this BrahMos missiles to different countries, and we are going for advancement in this BrahMos missile. So because of this, there is a high chance that you may get question 2026, because it got question got in UPS in 2018, that is 2018, guys, and 2026 you can expect a question. Okay, if you see this facts regarding this BrahMos missile, it is Indo-Russian joint venture. That means it is not completely Indian project. It is the project of India and as well as Russia. And the name is BrahMos. Brahm means nothing but this name came from Brahmaputra river of India, and MOS means Moscow of Russia. They gave this name from 2 rivers, Brahmaputra and Moscow. Brahmaputra from India and Moscow from Russia, guys. And the range is 290 kilometers and is the world's fastest cruise missile. And remember the speed is 2.8 Mach. That is 2.8 times the speed of sound. Okay, and it is a 2 stages. Solid propellant engine is there, and as well as liquid ramjet engine is there in this. And it operates on one important principle, that is fire and forget. If you fire that, you have to forget. Why? Because it will not change its path. There is no we cannot change the path once we fire this. So this mechanism is called as fire and forget principle. It does not require guidance after launch. There is no need of guidance like go in this way, like that. So if you fire, it will reach the target for sure. And even in between, you cannot change the path of this. So this mechanism is called as fire and forget principle. Okay, I said no, there are certain articles. The first one is the need for heart resilient urban planning. Now what is happening here is there is increasing of heart diseases or cardiovascular diseases for the people who are staying in these urban areas. What might be the reason? First one is increasing of air pollution, and nowadays we are adopting this fast food and we are not focusing on traditional diet, and we are taking foods which are having high trans fatty acids. Because of that, what is happening? There is deposition of fat in our blood vessels. Because of that, our blood vessels are becoming narrow, and because of that, there is increase of hypertension, increasing of heart attacks, increasing of other diseases like atherosclerosis, myocardial infarction, like that. So this article is saying that entirely there is increasing of what? Diseases. And here this article is saying certain solutions like how can we decrease this heart related problems in the people who are staying in urban areas. So first one here is, instead of sedentary lifestyle, try to have some physical activity. How can we have this physical activity? First one is we can go for walks and active mobility. For example, government can provide some safe shaded footpaths and even cycle lanes. So across this ORR, especially in our area side, do you know this Kali Mandir? From that Kali Mandir, we have this ORR to reach this Gachibowli. In that region, they started this cycle path, cycle lanes. Only cycle can move in that path. So we can create certain kind of cycle lanes. Second one is pedestrian crossing, promote movement and lower risk of hypertension and diabetes. First one is we need to increase physical exercise. That means we can create certain parks, green shadows, footpaths, cycle lanes. And next one is green infrastructure is very important. Why? Because in urban areas, there is increased vehicular pollution, increased PM 2.5. So because of this, we can increase infrastructure like green covers, parks, urban forest, so that it will cool the temperature. It can reduce the heat stress and as well as pollution linked heart attacks. This is the second solution. And third one is we have to go for combining of residential, commercial and recreational areas together. So that what happens? We can decrease the dependence on car. So if it is near, obviously we can go on foot or we can use cycles. And next one is public transport system should be made affordable, and mostly whatever the public transports we are using, we have to shift towards renewable sources. Nowadays, if you see buses, we have electric buses, and if you see this metro, they are electrically connected. So like that, we have to go for clean energy transit. And next one is we have to focus on healthy food ecosystems, guys. That is nothing but we have to focus on local markets. They are like pesticide free vegetables and fruits. And next one is community gardens. Normally, if you see in Hyderabad or in cities, we have communities, gated housing communities. In that, we have like gym, we have function hall, we have swimming pool, like that. No, in the same way, in this gated communities, we have to leave certain space for this community gardens. Okay, and next one is we have to improve our restrictions on junk food, and we have to advise the people to shift towards heart friendly choices. Okay, so if you take all these things, obviously we can reduce heart related diseases in urban areas. This area is important, not other things, guys. Okay, only these points. And there is one article, it is about 8.2 projection of our GDP, guys. So just see what we discussed in our last class, like what led to this 8.2 percentage of GDP forecast in the second quarter of 2026, because it is the highest ever, right? So these are the important topics that appeared. And now let us see the practice questions. Say this carefully. The Sanchar Sati app is now mandated to be, first one, pre-installed on all new smartphones sold in India. Is that right or wrong? Non-uninstallable by users. Yes, what is the answer? C, both 1 and 2. Okay, so like that you will be getting questions. In a similar way, in 2018 or 19, there was question regarding Beam app. It is a banking app. Okay, see this next one. Consider the following statements regarding BrahMos missile. First one, it is a supersonic cruise missile jointly developed by India and Russia. The name BrahMos is derived from Brahmaputra river in India and Moskova river in Russia. The maximum speed, okay, this third statement, its maximum speed is Mach 7, making it hypersonic. So here if you see these two statements, it is saying supersonic here, it is saying hypersonic here. So you have to be very much careful when reading the statements. The Mach speed is 2.8, not 7. Okay, so this statement is wrong. Answer is 1 and 2. So like that you have to identify. And if we are getting multiple statements in UPSC, one statement is contradicting others. You have to identify that kind of contradicting statement so that you can eliminate the statements wisely. Okay, by this I'm concluding, guys. I hope you like this session. If you really like this class, please do hit the like button and please to share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy. And if you want to get this notes of this class, you can join our Telegram channel where we are providing this notes in PDF format. The link is given in the description box, guys. And even you can follow us on our Instagram page where we are providing prelims question with answer and mains question with modal answer and also current affairs in short. Don't miss that, guys. Thank you so much for watching.